What is ACH and why is it important?
What is ACH and why is it important? ACH stands for air changes per hour. The way we calculate air changes per hour is through a blower door test. If you haven't seen it before, usually if you have seen a picture, it's usually this big red envelope with a big fan in the middle of it that you put at one of your doors. And what it does is you close up everything else, make sure there's no ashes in your fireplace because you're doing the different tests, make sure everything's good to go. And then you do what they call a blower door test, like I just said. And what it does is you actually pressurize the house, and then you depressurize the house at 50 kilopascals. And then the average of those two is what gives you your ACH, air changes per hour. So based on that air changes per hour, it'll actually affect what you need in terms of heating and cooling for your home and how well the house is going to perform. Depending on the building standard that you're going after where we are, actually across North America, there's going to be LEED, and there's also Passivhaus, there's R2000 here, Energy Star, those types of things. There's different ACH requirements. So in our case here in our passive home, we needed to hit 0.6 ACH, which is extremely airtight. So that's something that needs to be factored into when you're going through the design process. If you know you need to hit a certain ACH and you know it's going to be difficult, you need to work in these details ahead of time. So this is why it's important. You need to know what you're going after, and then you need to work with somebody who's dealt with this before, or who's maybe not necessarily dealt with it before, who's interested in learning, because then you need to figure out how to hit that ACH. There's going to be certain things, certain details within the building that need to change, because a typical way a building is built, at least here where we are, there's a lot of areas where you're going to have air leakage. And to give you an example would be in a typical home that's framed here, it's platform framing. You have your foundation, and then your floor joists sit on top, then your next wall sits on top of that, and then your floor joist if you're doing a two-story home. So every time your floor joists sit on top of that wall, normally the way we're building houses here to minimum building code is they put the air barrier and the vapor barrier is the same thing, and they put that on the inside of the wall, but when they hit the bottom of the floor joist, they don't wrap it properly. You can't do that. It's a hard detail to do. So there's ways to get around that through the design. If you design it differently, you can make sure that that air barrier is continuous and that you can have a tighter home or better ACH, lower ACH.